When circles are given to you in general form, then you're going to need to change it into standard form to find the center and radius to sketch. So we talked about find the center and radius to sketch from standard form. If you haven't watched that video, you should do that. And how to complete the square. That's part B, because that's an important concept as well. So this follows next after those two. So let's look at a specific example. First of all, remember that x squared plus y squared is a circle. So let's look at this example. It says x squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 4y minus 4 equals 0. No matter how long this is, see our circle right here? It's just not in the form that we need to keep going. So the first thing we want to do is we want to switch these two. Commutative property, you can change the order that you add. So that'll put our x terms together and our y terms together. And we want to add the 4 to the other side. So we move the constant to the other side. So we're going to have x squared plus 2x plus y squared minus 4y equals 4. So now you can see how our x terms are together and our y terms are together and our constant is on the left-hand side, right-hand side. So our x terms are together, our y terms are together, and the 4 is on the other side. Now what we want to do is we want to complete the square. So let's start with the x. X squared plus 2x plus something. And we're going to put something in here to complete the square. And then we have y squared minus 4y plus, let's put a box here because it will be something else, equals 4 plus blank plus box. What you put on one side, you also put on the other side, so it's important that you carry this box through. There we go. Let's put this box here. So it's a visual reminder so that we have the same thing on both sides. Let me give us just a little bit more room on this one. But you have to remember that what you add on one side, you also add to the other side. So don't forget to do that. All right, let's talk about the x squared. Now, hopefully you've watched that video, but what we're going to do is we're going to take half of this number b. So we're going to take half of 2 and square it. So we're going to say x squared plus 2x. Half of 2 is 1, squared is 1. Let's go ahead and factor that. That factors into x plus 1, which is x plus 1 squared. A lot of students ask me if they can skip that middle step. At some point, yes, but you have to understand that when you're skipping it, you're implying that this given part right here factors into this, which can be rewritten in a squared format. So you have to understand all that, and this helps most people figure out what they're doing. Now let's talk about the y. We're going to do half of negative 4, and we're going to take that quantity and square it. Half of negative 4 is negative 2. Squared is positive 4. So we're going to put a 4 in this blank, in this box, and then we're going to factor this. This factors into y minus 2, which is y minus 2 quantity squared. Now what goes in the blank is the 1 from the other side and the 4 from the box on the other side. And 4 plus 1 plus 4 is 9. So we bring that down. Now right here you can see our standard form of our circle. So the center is easy to spot. Think about that for a second. Like we did before, we changed the signs to be negative 1 and 2. And the radius is the square root of 9, which is 3. So hopefully you can understand that and let me know if you have questions. But let's do another one. Let's say x squared plus y squared plus 8x minus 2y plus 1 equals 0. Notice this is a circle because you have x squared plus y squared. So you really want it to be in that x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. So we're going to use the commutative property to switch those two terms. We're going to change the order that we're adding. We're going to minus 1 on both sides. So we have x squared plus 8x plus y squared minus 2y equals negative 1. Now let's fill in some completing the square spaces. Visual reminders of how to do this. So we have y squared minus 2y plus box equals negative 1 plus blank plus box. Now, we're doing half of b, so half of 8 is 4, squared is 16, and let's go ahead and factor that. This factors into x and x. The factors of 8 that make 16 are positive 4, so we have x plus 4 quantity squared. We're going to bring down the plus. Now we're going to take half of negative 2. Half of negative 2 squared is 1. Half of negative 2 is negative 1. Squared is 1. So this factors into y minus 1 times y minus 1, which is y minus 1 quantity squared. Now what you do on the one side, you have to do on the other. So on the left, we added 16. We're going to do that on the right. On the left, we added 1. We're going to do that on the right. And when we add all the like terms over here, that makes 16. So this is your standard form for a circle. Very important. Your center for this problem is negative 4, 1. And the radius is the square root of 16, which is 4. So this would be a cool graph because it's negative 4, 1, and it would touch the axis over here with the radius of 4. Okay, let's look at two more very specific examples. Number 3, let's say x squared plus 3x. Oh, that's not the way any textbook is going to give it to you. It would be if I were writing it, but let's write it the way they would. X squared plus y squared plus 3x minus 4y. Let's say equals 10. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy problem. It's okay. So the first thing we're going to do is use the commutative property. Oh, do you see the circle? Okay. The first thing we're going to do is use the commutative property to switch the x and the y, and the constant's already on the other side. So we're going to say x squared plus 3x plus y squared minus 4y equals 10. So we're going to put in our blanks and our boxes. Y squared minus 4y plus box equals 10 plus blank plus box. All right, now what is half of 3? I'm going to do this in terms of decimals. You can use fractions if you'd like, but a lot of people like decimals, so I'm going to go that way. Half of 3 is 1.5. Squared is 2.25. This factors into x plus 1.5 times x plus 1.5, because notice that's half of your b. So that would be x plus 1.5 quantity squared. Now let's bring down the plus. And half of 4 is 2. Squared is 4. And then this factors into, think about it, y minus, and the factors are both 2. So this is y minus 2 quantity squared. Bring down the equals. The first blank is 2.25, and the second blank is 4. So when we add these constants, we get 16.25. It's an interesting problem. Told you it would be interesting. So this is the standard form for our circle. And here, the center for our circle would be negative 1.5, positive 2. And the radius is the square root of 16.25. The square root of 16.25 is a number I do not know off the top of my head. So punch it in your calculator, and I got 4.03. I said there were two more, but I'm going to do two more still. Number 4. This is an interesting problem. The last few are interesting. It says x squared plus y squared plus 2x. I can't find it again. Minus 21 equals 0. So you see the circle here? Perfect. Hopefully that was a yes. Commutative property to change the way we order. Add 21 to both sides. So now we're going to say x squared plus 2x plus y squared equals 21. So x squared plus 2x plus blank plus, now notice the y squared, it is a y squared term. Nothing else needs to be added to it. So let's say plus y squared equals 21 plus blank. All right, so let's complete the square here. Half of 2 is, 1. Squared is, hopefully you're saying 1 with me. What does this factor into? X and x. Plus 1, x plus 1 squared. Bring down the plus, bring down the y squared, and then the blank goes 1. So this is 22. So the radius, not the radius, let's start with the center. Good math habits make good math students. So if you do it the same way every time, you're likely to get it right. The center on this one is different. The x is -1, and there's nothing with the y, so the y is 0. The radius is the square root of 22, which is probably not given to you very many times. But let's look at our calculator, and the square root of 22 is 4.69. You can say either square root of 22, which is simplified, or 4.69. But if you're graphing it, you need the 4.69. All right, last one. Only complete the square if you have x squared and y squared. There can't be anything in front of it. You can't complete the square if the problem says 5x squared or 8x squared. You can only complete the square when the real. Number 5. This one is an interesting problem because let me go back. When the leading coefficient is 1. So let's look at this problem. And it says 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 8x. Minus 8y minus 77 equals 0. Now, when you start this problem, the x squared plus y squared where the numbers match tells me it's still a circle, because if I divide by 4, I still have x squared plus y squared. So that's your first step, is we're going to divide by 4. And you have to do it in the entire problem or not at all. So now we're going to say x squared plus y squared minus 2y minus 77 over 4. I'm going to work in decimals again. I prefer fractions, but I find that many of my students prefer decimals. Now, we don't need the commutative property because those are both y's, but we do need to add 19.25 to both sides. My handy dandy calculator. So we have x squared plus y squared minus 2y equals 19.25. Any questions on that? All right. So this x squared is by itself. I'm just going to bring it down several times, 3 to be exact. And I'm going to say y squared minus 2y plus something equals 19.25 plus something. So now we have to think about our completing the square. That's why we have the blank. What is half of 2? Half of 2 is 1. Squared is 1. And then this factors into y minus 1, which is y minus 1 squared. Now, we also put that in the blank here. So we get 20.25 and 20.25. So now the real thing is the center and the radius. Our center, think about what the center is. The center is 0, positive 1. It's positive 1 because we changed the sign with the y. It's 0 because there's nothing happening with that x squared. It is just x squared. The radius is the square root of 20.25, which is 4.5. So you could sketch that, graph that, etc. Hope you understand, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.